What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we got the crazy reveals from Defoe, or Dimension Force, the next core set after Battles of Chaos. And this shiz looks crazy. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new zombie cards, and they kind of seem like they work with the zombie world theme. This is gonna be so cool, so cool. I know a lot of people love zombies. Shout out to my boy Michael. You know who you are. I feel like everybody has that guy that they know when they play Yu-Gi-Oh enough and they're like a good base. That one guy who loves zombies. Michael's one of my closest friends. I love that guy. So shout out to you, Mike. I know you don't play as much anymore, but I would love to duel you when you finally get your hands on these cards. But let's get into this thing, okay? We start off with Mad Murder. This is a level 2 Dark Zombie Tuner. 400 attack, 200 defense, level 2, of course. You can only use the second effect once per turn. His first effect reads, this card's name becomes Plague Spreader Zombie while face up on the field or in grave. Ooh, that's really nice because I believe there are a couple synchros that specifically require Plague Spreader Zombie as material. I don't remember how good they are. They're a little bit older, but cool. Secondly, we'll get to that. Secondly, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target one level 6 or higher monster you control. That's any monster, it doesn't have to be a zombie, which is nice. Decrease its level by 2, and if you do, special summon this card, but you cannot special summon monsters while it is face up in the monster zone, except for zombie monsters. Not too shabby, pretty cool. I mean, comes back from grave. It doesn't even have to get rid of a resource like regular Plague Spreader does. You do have to put a card in the hand back on top of the deck. This card only lowers a level. The only stipulation is you have to get yourself a level 6 or higher monster on the field. Not the hardest thing in the world, but sometimes not the easiest thing. But I would assume if you're playing this card, you'll build around that and it shouldn't be too big of an issue. I think it's a pretty good card. I think it's a pretty good tuner. Anytime tuners can summon themselves is pretty good. All right, next up here, our other main deck monster is a Mazera card. Al Ghul Mazera, level 8 Earth Zombie effect monster, 2800 attack, 2300 defense, 2 hard once per turn effects. The first one reads, if a zombie monster you control be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your grave or hand instead. Okay, get just like a nice Banlix for any zombie, by the way. This isn't zombie synchro, this isn't, you know, certain level zombie. This is just any zombie on the field you can protect. That's really nice, especially because this seems to be support for like zombie world, some zombie horde type shenanigans. So Ballardrock, not only do you have his disruptions, but you also have the ability to protect him and make him even harder to clear off the field. Very nice. Second effect says, if this card becomes banished from the hand or graveyard, you can special summon it in defense position. Then you can decrease its level by 1. Also not bad. He acts as Banlix in the grave, and when he does use his Banlix effects, he summons himself, or you can banish him in any other way. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. I think this card's pretty cool. I don't know, like it does look like it could be a little bit clunky, right? Drawing it in the hand seems a little awkward, but as long as you can get it into the grave, like, and make decent use of it, I think this card's fine. Not too bad. All right, moving on here, we got a couple synchros, 3 different synchros. The first one we have here is a level 10. This is Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord. It's 2800, 2400, takes a zombie tuner and then any other monster. So that's pretty cool. Just needs the zombie tuner, so that could be potentially Uni Zombie. That could be potentially our Plague Spreader and or our new guy Mad Murder. Not too bad. All right, first and second effects are hard once returns. The first effect reads, during your opponent's turn, you can target one zombie monster in your graveyard. This is a quick effect, except for another copy of itself, and special summon it. Okay, so it's a quick effect to reborn any zombie from grave. That means maybe if you have Ballardrock in grave and your opponent was able to actually clear field spells off and like get him kind of stuck in grave, you could just revive him the hard way this way. Not too bad. Second effect, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one zombie you control to special summon this card. Wow. So then it recurs itself so easily. Okay. Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. Not bad. I'm trying to think of if there's any other like really good zombie options. I guess the theory here would also be if, because this is a really high level, if you were able to link up or I guess synchro spam up into him, he's level 8. So if you summoned a level or he's level 10. So if you summoned a level 8 synchro and then used Out Mad Murder to synchro up into him, you would have the level 8 engrave, whatever that is. So you could reborn the level 8 to pair with him nicely. If he gets destroyed later on, he can bring himself back and then revive the 8 again. Not bad if you can get that set up. Speaking of which, we've got a level 8 right damn here. And also while Zombie World is on the field, everything counts as zombies. So if there is a generic level 8 synchro, it counts as zombies. This card could just revive that, which is still pretty cool. All right, so the next one here is, what is this? Corpse Dragon Lord Felgrant. So Felgrant Dragon, but in zombie form, very cool. Level 8 light zombie synchro, 28/28 for the stats, a zombie tuner and a non-zombie tuner for, or a non-tuner monster, just any non-tuner. So again, second material is completely generic, opens the door for a little bit of generic, cards to play. 2 hard ones return effects. The first one reads, if this card is special summoned, you can target one monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard and banish it. So that is perfect because that works perfectly. If you can kind of link climb up into Dragonlord, you can use him to revive this guy on the opponent's turn, triggering his effect to just target and banish one monster they control. Pretty good disruption. Second effect, if a monster or monsters is special summoned from the graveyard while this monster is face up on the field, you can target one face up monster on the field, except this card, negate its effects until the end of this turn. Also interesting. So if theoretically you can end on him and this, or maybe have a way to just revive him to banish something on the opponent's turn and have another quick revival to summon something else, and then use his other effect to negate something, he could theoretically be 2 interruptions. Now, I don't love that his 2 interruptions are pretty much based around like other cards, but I guess theoretically, even like playing into a board, if you can just synchro summon him, he targets and banishes a card off the field. So that's even in itself like already pretty decent. So pretty interesting. I like this card a lot, actually. I think this card's pretty good. And the last synchro we have here is Immortal Dragon. This thing looks kind of crazy with all the skeletal features. It reminds me a lot more of Ballardrock. I think this one's design is very Ballardrock-esque to me, just in terms of like those skeletal features. Let's see though. This is a level 6 Dark Zombie Synchro Tuner. So a Synchro Tuner that's level 6, 500 attack, 2400 defense. So definitely a defensive creature here. Takes any tuner and any non-tuner. So this one's completely generic. And the first and second effects are hard once per turns. The first effect reads, during your main phase, you can send a zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do, this card's level becomes the difference between its original level and the sent monsters. Becomes the difference. Very interesting. Because I'm already thinking like, well, I mean, even in just like crazy terms, like you just get the Foolish Burial anything. You could Foolish Burial Mizuki, and then Mizuki revives like one of the other materials that you just already used to make this card, and then you climb up because this card's the tuner. Very interesting. Okay. Second effect, when your zombie monster is destroyed by battle while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So a lot of recursion here. We're seeing a lot of recursive effects. This card bringing itself back really easily. This card bringing itself back really easily. It does leave the field. It is banished next time it leaves the field there, but I believe there are going to be cards here that help us deal with that. I gave them a quick skim earlier. And then this guy obviously coming back from grave. So a lot of like graveyard recursion here, which is really cool. All right, next up here we have our spell. This is Zombie Reborn. Here we go. This is a normal spell. You can only use one of the first and second effects per turn, and only once that turn. So you cannot use both in the same turn, but you can use one and then use the other. I'm assuming it's a graveyard effect. The first effect reads, target a zombie monster in either graveyard as cost. Banish one monster with the same name from your deck or extra deck. And if you do, special summon the targeted monster. Ooh-wee. That is pretty good, I think. Right? Just because even if it's an extra deck monster, you just have to play 2 copies of it. Right? Banish the other copy in the extra deck, boom, revive that thing. Or in the main deck, a lot of cards I would assume you're already playing 2-ubs or 3-ubs. Easily send another one. Oh, banish one. Oh, it's banish, not send. That'd be insane if it was send to Reborn. Oh my god. That seems still pretty good though, right? Banish a Ballardrock to revive a Ballardrock or anything else. Really cool. Really strong. I feel like that has so many applications. You just build your deck around it. Really strong. The second effect says if this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle one of your banished zombies back into the deck, and if you do, set this card to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field. Wow, so it just comes back for free on the next turn. But you can't activate it that turn. So that's the downside, right? Because this is a spell, you can't like activate this on you can activate this on your turn 1 to reborn something. Then you can't do it on your opponent's turn, so you have to wait till your next turn to reset it, and then you wouldn't even be able to activate it until your next turn after that. So it is very slow to come back, but it is a resource. Nonetheless, if you're playing something like Forbidden Droplet, which already has good like graveyard synergy with just like sending zombies and stuff from the hand, this would just be another material to be able to just send for free off of that. So I'm not complaining. We will take that all day. And the last card we have here is Haunted Zombie. This is actually a trap card. It's a normal trap. You can only use one of its 2 effects once per turn. So you have to pick one again, same as the other one we just read. The first effect reads, banish 1 zombie monster that has a level from either graveyard. And if you do, special summon 2 haunted tokens. They're zombie, dark, 0 attack, 0 defense with the same level of that monster. Okay, so you can banish any zombie from any graveyard and then get 2 tokens. Okay, and if this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle one of your banished zombies back into the deck, and if you do, reset this card, but banish it next time it leaves the field. This one's a trap, so that reset effect is a little bit better. It means you set this turn 1, you use it on your opponent's turn, then on your next turn, you reset it, and then on your opponent's next turn, you can use it again. So it is 1 turn faster as far as like becoming live again after resetting it, but still slow nonetheless. And I'm not exactly sure what the 2 tokens are doing for you. Honestly, I mean, I guess if you have Zombie World up, it's Graveyard Disruption because you can quick effect banish like a zombie, something that counts as a zombie in your opponent's grave, which is fine. So like versus stuff like Enforcer, this card obviously you have applications, but you kind of already need to be set up for that to be the case. I don't really see this going second really being good enough if your opponent summoned Enforcer going first, unfortunately. I mean, I guess if you could bait it out and set this with a Zombie World, you could theoretically, in like your opponent's draw phase, banish the Enforcer. But then they still have like Celestial and Dasher, so they can at least get a draw 2 or get a free body back on field. So it's still not a full win, all things considered, especially since the payoff is only 2 tokens on the opponent's turn with no stats, so they're very easy to walk over. So I don't know. I don't really get this card fully. I don't know what you're doing with the tokens on the opponent's turn, I think is the problem. But nonetheless, I think the support is really cool. Really, really cool. I think both of the main deck monsters could have a spot in the deck. This guy's a little bit bricky, but other than that, I still like him. This card's really interesting to me. Obviously, all 3 of the synchros, I think, might be the best cards we have here to look at. New boss monsters that if you combine a zombie world type deck with the ability to like synchro climb, then this deck actually can do some legitimate things. And I just love how it seems to have just a lot of like recursive effects in the graveyard. Obviously that's very staple for zombies, but this one seems a little more recursive than normal. Just the fact that once you get this guy engraved, he comes back so easily just by putting any zombie on the field, and then he revives something else every one of your opponent's turns. I love it. I love it. Really, really cool stuff. Also, the spells are really good. I think this card could be a staple in zombies as an extender, but we'll see. So really, really cool stuff. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say here. I'm not necessarily a zombie main, but I have always thought zombies were really, really tight. So if you are a little bit more specifically a zombie player than me, let me know in the comment section down below any specific synergies or interactions that these new cards have that you might have noticed that I did not, because I would love to hear more about that. I think this stuff is really awesome. I cannot wait to see what people come up with the new zombie stuff we have here. What a cool reveal. Really, really cool. Really, really happy they had something like this in Dimension Force. I think this is a really nice addition to this set. Hopefully they keep it up. But that's going to do it from here today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe if you want to stay up to date for all card reviews and reviews and reactions when new cards drop, because I love making these kinds of videos. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.